Hi, everybody. Have you ever been in a relationship and gotten a divorce or have been in a significant relationship that just broke up and it was just terrible and it really just broke the perfect picture of what you thought a relationship would be? So, today we're going to talk about the four things that you actually get out of it and makes your life a little bit better. And there's a process to it. So, Freddie, let's talk about it today.
Okay, so my first marriage, I got married at 18 years old. My husband was 21. Within 6 years, we had three kids. We'd bought a house. We had the perfect picture. I had waited my whole life, and when I was a little girl, my entire bucket list was I wanted to get married. Not so much about the children, but I definitely wanted to have that loving relationship. And then we had the kids, and they were fun, and it was great. After 15 years, my perfect picture went away. We got divorced and it was devastating for me. So, what did I do instead of dealing with my grief? I instantly hooked up with my second husband. And then, after we split up, after almost 8 years, I hooked up with my third husband because I was running away from feeling the grief and the pain. And I got to tell you, you want to do your grieving process because by the time my third marriage ended, I was inconsolable. My grief was deep and long and sad because it was three times. And that's what we're talking about today, how grieving is very necessary in order for you to move on to another healthy relationship, is to go through the grieving process and let go of that perfect picture.
My story is I was very similar to Freddie. I was married for 9 years, and I really had a great relationship up until probably the last year, and it fell apart, and it was rough because I always felt like I was going to be married forever, and it just didn't work out that way. And what ended up happening um, as Freddie and I were dating and getting to know each other, uh, we really talked about it, and it didn't dawn on me. She actually said, "Hey, Wayne, the perfect picture broke," and and I was like, "Wow, you're right." And it was devastating because now I didn't get to come home to my original wife with the kids in the house and everything was great. It was tough. We had split custody. There was a lot of things that I didn't get to come home to watch my children grow up and to grow old with this person that I thought was going to be my partner for life. And it just didn't work out. And it was devastating. And it's not blaming anybody, it's just
Mm-mm.
the reality of it didn't work and we didn't put it back together. And so the perfect picture broke.
What was necessary for me too is that after my third divorce, when I finally realized that I had to quit chasing that perfect picture, I had to quit it. I had to quit chasing that perfect picture. I had to take a look at myself. I needed to go get some help because I kept running away from it. And that when I went through therapy, they just said life is messy. And even if you would have stayed in that perfect picture first marriage, it's not perfect. There's going to be challenges. It's messy. We have a tendency to blame the other person instead of looking at yourself. What my therapist helped me realize, and I think it's important for all of us to know when we move into a new relationship, is that whatever baggage we have, we bring that along to the next one. And if you don't go through your grief, if you don't learn from what's happened in this past relationship where the mistakes were made, where the challenges were that you failed to pass that test, then you will continue on like I did. I continued on doing that over and over and over again, same lesson, different face, until I realized that I was actually the problem, not the other person.
Really?
Yes, I
You a
was.
problem?
Yes,
Or me a problem?
I'm messy. I'm messy. Yeah.
Life is messy. The other thing that happens is if you reflect and you learn and grow through that, and you take all those pictures, all those shards of that broken picture, and you actually create a kaleidoscope for your next life. And that can be beautiful, but it's going to be a little more complex. But the thing about it is, it can be a beautiful life. For Freddie and I, Freddie's my third significant relationship. I was married before, then I lived with somebody, And then that didn't work out. And then Freddie and I, through our work individually and then together, we were able to build this incredible marriage that has lasted at this recording over 29 years.
Yeah.
And it's been fantastic. I would have never dreamed after my Perfect Picture breakup with my first wife that I could have had an incredible marriage relationship partner that I have now with my wife. And I think it's really important to understand that you can have that and it can be even better than the first relationship that you have, because now you have the opportunity to reflect on it. You can take a look at it, dissect it, learn, how did you participate in that? How did you show up when things got tough? It's never one person that really blows up a relationship. It takes two. And
it takes two to make it too, because you can want that more than anything. With my first marriage, it was what I wanted more than anything in the whole world with my entire bucket list. But I don't care how much you want something, it takes two to participate in it, to make it happen. And also you've got to look at yourself and how you are part of a large part of the problem. And that's what we want to talk about in this one with the Perfect Picture broken, is to realize that number one is you have to grieve. You have to grieve, because you're going to grieve one way or the other. It's either going to be right after or it's going to be 15 years later when it's really horrible. And then the other thing is you have to learn from that. How did you participate? One my therapist said to me is that everything around you and every person around you is a reflection of you. So if, like I used to say, I'd say, well, how do you think I'm doing? And he would go, well, how's Wayne doing? Because however Wayne's doing, that's how you're doing, because he's just a reflection of you. And so it's a fascinating thing, and we just want to make sure that everybody knew that we feel like it's very important in order to move forward into a new loving relationship, that you grieve the perfect picture and you're open to all the different possibilities, and new, like Wayne says, take the little broken pieces and put them back into this beautiful new puzzle that is your lifelong, lasting, loving relationship.
Well, great. So we hope you got a lot out of that, and stay tuned for our next podcast.